The Snap. Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, Monster Energy, and DHL.
It's day 4 of the challenge season for Call of Duty Mobile in EU, and it's time for us to find out which team will claim the last spot in the challenge finals. 117 exclusive and wanted, wait in the wings to see who that last squad will be as our last 3 teams prepare to start. 2 matches stand between us and the final 4, so let's not wait any longer. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Snapdragon Pro Series. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Snapdragon Pro Series, where today is the last day of our challenge season, at least the normal portion of the season for EU here in Call of Duty Mobile. It's going to be an exciting day as we figure out the last team that will be competing in our challenge finals. My name is Glitter Explosion, and I will be your host here today to close it all out. And of course, we got the boys back in town. We've got Infinity and Ton ready to get through these last two matches. I mean, it's going to be a quick one, and then we'll know the top four in the region. Are you excited, Brody?
Yeah, I feel like I say this at the start of every single show, where it's just like, the last day of action, it was incredible. It gave us so many surprises. And I feel like it's a little bit boring at this point, because that's exactly what happened yesterday. And I feel like that's probably what's going to happen today. We have no idea what's going on anymore. I'm excited to get somebody else into playoffs.
Ton, are you ready to kind of put a pin in this region and then really start to focus on the next step of the competition after that?
I think so, but after yesterday, I kind of want a bit more of that kind of thing, right? I want these underdogs to keep flying on. We have opportunities for that to happen today. Whether it's as likely as what happened yesterday is another thing, but yeah, plenty more surprises potentially on the way.
Yeah, it was a really enjoyable day yesterday. If you missed that, or if you just want to keep up with everything else we've got coming up in the future, follow us on social media. We've got X, Insta, and Facebook, and that way you won't miss a single update from what is happening here in the Snapdragon Pro Series. Or you can join our Discord at discord.gg/Snapdragon Pro Series to hang out in our community, talk all things Call of Duty Mobile, and of course, continue to get all of those updates, because like the boys have said yesterday, it was a surprising day. We'll take a look back at some of those highlights just in case you missed it, and to give you a bit of a refresher before we dive into our matches here today, because what we expected to happen, it didn't, Brody.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll say this much. So yesterday started relatively normally, right? I mean, for every single first round matchup we've had here in the European Challenge season, it has been a 3-0, and these matches yesterday were no difference. We kicked things off with Animus and Vanquish. We set this up as a potential close matchup. Vanquish, of course, looked pretty good during the open finals, but when it came down, when push came to shove, as it were, against Animus, it didn't really look that competitive whatsoever. The hard point was a complete walkover for Animus. You're seeing here in the search and destroy this disgusting play from Shark capped off what was a dominant search and destroy, and the only real signs of life that we got from Vanquish in this best of 5 was that control. This control you're seeing right here, where Animus came out the gate swinging. We see the same kind of plays that we're used to seeing, and then all of a sudden Vanquish came out with some life, but even then it wasn't enough in the end. They lost 3-0 in the series. They went down to the lower bracket.
Jumping into the second game, this was a one that we expected to be a little bit closer, but Wanted came out the blocks absolutely flying, and this one was done nearly as quickly as the first series was. I think just honestly how well Wanted played in map number 1, it didn't catch us off guard, but it was just how clean it was in the end. And then going into the game against Animus, that was when things got really crazy, Brody. Couldn't actually believe my eyes when they were managing to find win after win after win. The first map comes through, they almost choke the momentous lead that they kind of had. Things started to get very, very tight, but of course they're in the control. This is where Animus started to find a way back through, but the hard point, again, a huge problem for Animus. Wanted punishing them there, and then punishing them in the final map as well. It was a crazy, crazy series, Lauren, and I hope for a little bit more of this, to be honest with you. A couple more map 5s, I'm about it. That's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were wondering where the level of competition was going to be for some of these teams, and I think we really saw Wanted bring it yesterday, proving why they deserve to be in our challenge finals right now. But none of those teams that lost yesterday are out of it yet. This is a double elimination style bracket here, so we still have a few more matches to be played out to figure out who that last team will be as the 4th qualified one through to challenge finals. You'll see here on the schedule, we'll be kicking things off with Vanquish versus Nexus, the first 2 teams that were dropping down from the upper portion of that bracket. And then as Animus made it through one more step further, they'll be waiting in the wings to play the winner of the first matchup of the day. And whoever wins that second lower bracket final matchup will be the 4th team in the challenge finals, Brody. So we'll be kicking things off on a little bit more level playing field here for Vanquish and Nexus.
Yeah, I anticipate this one's going to be a lot closer than what we saw yesterday, besides obviously the game 5. I at least hope it will be, because Nexus did show some signs of life yesterday, especially in the hard point, and then we saw Vanquish also looking pretty good in the control towards the end. So I would be surprised if this was a steamroll for either of these two teams, and I want to see some promise, that delivery on the promise that we kind of set out for these teams. Again, teams that had changed rosters from last season, wanted to do better than they did last season. We need to see delivery on that here in this matchup, because now it is do or die. You lose this matchup, your time in the challenge season is done and dusted. You ain't not getting a chance at taking down Animus.
Absolutely. Well, before we dive into that first match fully, guys, of course, we've been asking you every single time. We'll ask you here yet again. A QR code will pop up on your screen. Scan that and fill out the survey for us. Just let us know your thoughts on SPS, what you love about the program, and areas you think we could possibly improve. And if you do that, you'll be entered in to win a $100 gift card. It takes like 5 minutes. It's super easy to do. So if you could just let us know your thoughts, we would really appreciate it. But now it's time for us to start diving into our matchups for the day. We've mentioned it a few times. We've got Vanquish versus Nexus here to kick everything off for the very first lower bracket matchup here. The last opportunity for these teams to kind of make their way through the competition. If they lose, this is where they are officially outdone.
Yeah, and I think for Vanquish yesterday, you couldn't have asked for a harder task going into their first game up against Animus. So today is a bit more of a level playing field. They know that they would have been able to potentially come through that loser's side of things, and that's where they got to get it done. Now, this isn't the hard part, going up against Nexus. That's your first step. Your second one is against Animus, but okay, right, we can try and take it with a pinch of salt. Say maybe we just didn't play great yesterday. Let's see how it looks. But now going into this one, you still have to get past Nexus first, who didn't look too bad against Wanted, who went on to beat Animus. So by proxy, Nexus should be a strong team to go on and eventually find the win here. But Vanquish definitely have it within them. But this Nexus team, they definitely kind of brought it on a couple of different occasions, but fell short. And I'm curious if they can bring another level today.
Yeah, it is worth saying. I think Nexus did have sparks of hope, is the term I would use from yesterday, right? Where I think, you saw a couple of rounds on the Kurahana Search and Destroy. You saw a couple of moments again in what was otherwise a pretty close Hacienda hardpoint where Nexus did look like a team that can be competitive. So there is hope, I think, for this roster. I think we've got a good match ahead of us.
Well, we'll take a look at these picks as they come through as well for our maps and kind of see what our teams are thinking as far as this first series. We're going to start things off on the Summit hardpoint here, straight into an Express S&D, Brody.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting start to this series. Of course, we did see a Summit hardpoint yesterday, I believe, but I don't think it was from either of these two teams. So not going to be seeing it between those two teams. You saw Hacienda in the first. Express Search and Destroy, also something I believe we didn't see from either of these two teams either. This is going to be new for both of the rosters. What we did see from these guys was an Arsenal control on both sides, and that was the map in which Vanquish were able to push Animus to a round 5. So that is a good thing for them in this series. Again, though, curious to see kind of what the rest of this looks like, because for me, I think those hard points, again, Nexus looked strong in hardpoint yesterday. They were just not able to close it out. I think that's going to be a good start for them in the series.
For me, I'm surprised that Arsenal actually makes it through, just considering how decent Vanquish looked on this map yesterday. I think for Nexus, it could have been a potential ban if you could have done something there to get rid of it. You've seen them kind of start to bring it back, and it is one of those that you can potentially cheese with the small traps. So it's that one way to potential bit of a roll of the dice. So let's see how things go. Obviously, when we get to that stage, how things are looking. But for me, basically, based off yesterday, Vanquish didn't really show me enough against Animus. There was no fight whatsoever on the first two maps. We're going to need to see much better on Summit and much better on Express if they want a chance in this series. But yeah, I still think that Nexus will be leaning as the favorites here, even with that Arsenal control in the mix.
All right, well, let's not keep anybody waiting any longer. Our first match of the day is ready to go. The first elimination match of the day as well, and the last day of the challenge season. I'm excited to see how it goes. So guys, let's kick it off.
Alrighty, let's go to our first match of the day then. It's time for the elimination matchups. One of these teams is about to be sent home. I mean, they are playing from home right now, so they're not going that far, but they're not playing the competition any longer. And again, we don't really know which way this match is going to go, given the fact that both of these teams struggled yesterday. We expected a lot more out of them, and we're expecting to see that today.
Yeah, hopefully we do, because yeah, for Vanquish especially, it was a really poor showing. But also for Nexus, I think you go into that series expecting something a little bit closer. So disappointment in both these two teams yesterday, which I think makes for a good game today, Brody, by the power of elimination. I'm not too sure. Let's see how it kind of works out between these two teams as we head into Summit. I think for Nexus, you will feel confident at this one. Vanquish showed a little bit here and there, but Nexus for me, definitely feel like an overall stronger squad. Let's see if they can actually prove that, though, as we jump into Summit, of course. And initially, it is Nexus in control of the point. Turtle doing a really good job in the middle of the point, finding 3 there with the R9, and will keep control of this. 43 seconds to play for here. Spawns are over towards that P2, P3 side for the side of Vanquish. They need to keep a hold of them.
Yeah, always keep an eye on those spawns. The spawn flip is crucial on this map, right? It's so difficult to unearth teams when they have got those P2 spawns in control. So for Nexus, as far as the start of this game is concerned, they've had a pretty solid one, but now they're starting to lose control of P1. Kirby's going to double up for a couple of kills. Kirby will actually find number 3. So these are the important gunfights that yesterday, when we were looking towards Vanquish and Hardpoint, they were not finding them. Big gunfights to try and garner the scrap time here, Tom. But again, you already talked about it. The rotation towards new is almost upon us, and Nexus already have a few players positioned around it.
In a good position now. Can they hold down some decent time over towards P2? But the spawn's starting to flip over towards P3 now, so it's going to be about that fight. You can see number 2 on the minimap. He's going to be able to win that. That was Feint, holding things down towards the backside, so you want to make sure you can try and keep a hold of that, or you can potentially pinch for the rest of his team. Zezé going to try and make a move through the R9, working it the second time of asking. Isn't able to find anything on HBC. His Feints will find another towards the back spawn, and now the spawns will start to work in the favor of Nexus. Vanquish are getting time on the board, but Nexus in a good position to stop that.
Yeah, Nexus will continue to get those close spawns here, so they can hit this over and over again. Vanquish spawning out as far as not just this hill, but the rotation is concerned. Kirby will get a couple of kills, though, so Vanquish well on the way for the contestation. Perhaps the break coming through here. HBZ's not allowing it, unfortunately. Isn't quite ready for the jump down from Lydia, who actually finds a second kill and a third as well. Big kills coming through from Lydia. Gives Vanquish a little bit of breathing room, but nobody is inside besides CZ. Perhaps that's all you need for the scrap time here. Gets 2 kills with the R9. Can't quite land the third. Nonetheless, there are teammates to pick up where he left off. But as you said, mate, there is a spawn out coming on through, and that's down to these positions from Vanquish. You've got players in behind, and that is a perfect flip coming through from them.
It was just a run of the ice path from 2 different players. Really good job coming through from the side of Vanquish, making sure the timing is correct. Now, can you make it count? A couple of kills starting to go your way. You're inside the point, and it is ticking. HBC will get taken down after finding 1, but so far so good here for Vanquish, locking it down. No spawns towards the back for Nexus just yet, and the operators are out, and the operators are singing. Sees it. We'll find 2. Can he find anything else? Not quite, but it will force them away. Really good job from Vanquish, making sure that this is going to be made to count. A lot of investment here, and it's working so far for Vanquish. 35 seconds remaining. Can they hold it down?
Yeah, they've currently already garnered a pretty good lead over Nexus. Now they want to hold on to it. Nexus still getting the front here. They don't really have time anymore off the back of this hard point to actually hit the back spawns. I think flipping out the spawns at this point would only do them more harm than good. But look, all these kills coming through. Lydia finds 3 through the front. CC is all but a distraction as Lydia finds all 3 of those gunfights. And as I was saying, mate, again, there comes a point at which Nexus are not going to hit for that for the time. And Vanquish will get basically a full 60 off what was a great rotation coming out from them. They're now comfortably in the lead in this game.
And it felt like they invested a lot, but they still got 3 operators to their name. So an opportunity to try and find a break here. You're going to find 1 towards the back with the Predator missile if you're Lydia, and that might just open things up. Balan's going to try and answer back with something if he can, with the War Machine. Can only find 1 Cuban towards the back, finds 2 of his own though. Sparrow out, Cuban finds another. The shot's looking so good, and all of a sudden Turtle is going to have to do a lot of work here with the Equalizer. Annihilator in hand as well. If you are this side of Nexus, can you be able to do anything with this HBC up close and personal? Cuban trying his own shots, can't find it. His HBC finds a full feed. Kill still back and forth between these 2 teams, but Nexus just about still in control.
Yeah, this is a big hard point for Nexus again. You look at the discrepancy between these 2 teams. You understand that Nexus do have to get this time. So big gunfights being made at the moment. ZZ's going to try and penetrate the hard point. He's not really going to find much of anything at all. Instead, it's the teammates on the other side that do. Lydia snapping on the players at the moment. And 19 kills, leading the lobby in terms of pure gunfights. And unfortunately, will not be able to win the gunfight towards the back half of that hard point, but nonetheless is able to momentarily hold Nexus away from it, and that is crucial time given how close this game is at the moment. Vanquish still holding off what was a stellar rotation towards P3 ton and the hold from there on out.
Yeah, and that's the big difference maker so far. Is in Nexus get a decent hold over towards P4, but nothing like what Vanquish did to them over towards the previous hill. Lydia finding multiple kills every single time that we jump on board with her. Is going to have the opportunity here for a 3rd tail. Dead to rights. Lydia holding it down to the side of Vanquish. As you mentioned, the highest kills in the lobby so far and making every single one of them count. Vanquish picking up some good time here over towards P1. P2 is about to pop.
There's still a lot of time left on P1 to fight over, and Nexus know it. That's why you're sending players towards this hard point. And of course, now you can start to fight for that top side positioning as well. Power positions to have some control over a P2. But you have to win the gunfights, and they are doing exactly that with Nexus finding a couple of kills. I don't think Vanquish want to touch this time. This is a lot of time you're gifting away towards Nexus while you're focusing in on map control. And this is a long-range play coming through from Vanquish. They are playing the long game. They are sending players in towards spawns, making sure that those flip out. Doesn't matter that you give the rotation immediately away towards Nexus here and you give the scrap time. You have to make sure you stay on side of the map. But that gamble has to work out. You've already let players through. Look, player number 4 for Nexus. HBC might have just flipped the spawns back in their favor.
Have to keep an eye on those spawns as things do just focus on over towards that P3 later on in the day. He's going to manage to use the equalizer there, but not really too much effect. So there's one of the most powerful operators, if not the most powerful operator, gone. Nexus trying to hold down some decent time here. 45 seconds remaining. A lot of investment coming through from Nexus, actually, just to force them away. Keep an eye on the spawns, though. Nobody blocking towards the back. Still going to be there, though, for the side of Nexus. Let's keep an eye on number 1, though. It is Cuban making the push around here for the side of Vanquish. He was the one that really did mix things up. When you made that route last time, are they going to be ready for him this time? No, they are not. And once again, have Vanquish made their move at the right time? Looking like the spawns are still going to be there, and you're going to be close if you are the side of Nexus, but Cuban just trying to hold it down all on his own. It's all about this rotation over towards P3, completely surrounded. Nexus reinvests so much into that.
Yeah, and again, these spawns are everything. You saw Vanquish get a full 60 on the last set on this very hard point. It gave them the lead that they currently still maintain. So for Nexus, they understand this is the moment. Vanquish also understand they can put these spawns out just as quickly as they lost them. They're already trying that. Zizzy going to have to help out his teammates, though. All the gunfights being won on the other side. Legacy, a big part of that play with the claw, is able to remove a couple of players from that spawn push. There's still one more to deal with, and HBC is going to do exactly that. So on the initial, Vanquish not able to get through. Now Nexus deciding now it's time to bring some more stuff out. Operators galore. On the other side, Kirby's going to find one, but not any more value beyond that. HBC with the Annihilator as well. Winning these gunfights is balanced inside the hard point. Nexus doing a good job of keeping Vanquish away, and HBC is finally going to fall here. 3 go down. You can fight this from the front if you're Vanquish, but you still need to find more of these kills. There's still annoying 2 pieces and 3 pieces coming through from Nexus, and there's another one of them. This should be the hill control they want now, unless Vanquish can find a way back in to take the lead.
I just have to be careful not to overextend here. You don't want to get spawned towards the back, but Nexus is far too close for that to happen anyway. Push now going to start coming on through. Nexus will have themselves a lead as we head over towards the next hill. Looking over towards the operator side of things, though. Vanquish do have it in the bag. If they want to try and hold this down, Cuban, Annihilator has been popped, and imagine he's going to be holding towards the backside. Yes, he is now. Legacy and Co. This is a hard break. If you can try and find it, Cuban finds one, but that's all. Legacy is able to find another. Lydia's there now as well. The spawns towards the back coming through from Nexus. An opportune moment to find a break.
Here we go. Can they get it done? They've got the spawns. They actually need to find the kills as well, keeping an eye on all these players in all the different corners. And yeah, Nexus find every single one of them just like that. Vanquish still with close spawns though, so Nexus might be in here for the moment, Tunt. But Vanquish can still fight back towards this hard point. It just has to be a well put together kit, and I don't even know really if they can. Nexus are keeping an eye on every single point of entry. HBC is going to triple up there towards the top side. They are feeding him at the moment, and he is feasting on all these Vanquish players. And with 20 seconds left again, you start to ask the question, is it worth keeping on sending ourselves in and feeding streak to Nexus because they are winning all these fights?
HBC just posted up in that position. You're never going to outgun him. And now Nexus find themselves in their first healthy lead, and maybe just at the right time to get it. What can you do if you Vanquish over towards this next hill? Looking over towards Operator's side of things, absolutely nothing to write home about. Legacy does have that Predator missile. It will get called in almost immediately, to what seems like no benefit for the side of Nexus so far. Now I'm going to start calling it now if you're HBC as well, but here we go. Over towards the next hill. It's still Vanquish in control. These next couple of kills are crucial. Nexus can find a way through. Vanquish cannot let them.
Vanquish need to hold on towards his time. Big kills being made here by Gon and CZ. The former is down after picking up a couple of gunfights. He's opened the door for perhaps CZ to hold on, but he has a lot to do. That's a lot to ask for, so down they go. Nades utility galore, gliding towards this hard point. Cuban and Kirby going to open season with a couple of kills here. Their Nexus still trying to fight their way on towards the point, but there goes one player. ZZ with the equalizers is going to find serious value, and he's still got him on the point as well. Can still utilize them to remove Turtle from the point, but no, Turtle's going to win the gunfight with the R9. Fortunately enough, there are Vanquish players around to win that gunfight, and now next up's going to be Another player here, Legacy up top with the claw. What can they do? Absolutely nothing. It is carnage inside P1. Vanquish vying for the last 10 seconds, and I think with those gunfights, they should get it, but the rotation will be upon us in a moment.
Oh, that's a 3 big kills to come in at the right time. If you are Vanquish, you clear them out for a moment, but now HBC can make his way over. Looking towards the operator, it's 3 available from Nexus, 2 for the side of Vanquish. Is that going to be the difference maker as we head into the next hill? 1 player is lingering though. Look at this, it's Legacy. He finds one on the gun, and now all of a sudden he can start to find the push inside the point, and there is a momentary clear. Push going to start coming back though here from the side of Vanquish. Can they find anything? The answer is absolutely yes, and absolutely everything. 45 seconds remaining on this hill. Vanquish can win as yet.
They can. Nexus can also, though, they find a couple of kills. Kirby's War Machine has to find some serious value here. Just get these guys away. And no, unfortunately, runs straight into a trophy system that takes his War Machine out and himself. Nexus winning the fights as well. HBC for 4. And Turtle here with the equalizers too. Nexus trying to remove Vanquish from the point. That smoke is going to enable them on for just a second. But in the end, Nexus take it home. And in the middle of the game there, Ton, at the end of the first set, it looked like Vanquish might well be the team to do it. But Nexus, I mean, they make all the right decisions there on that second set. Perfect spawn control towards P3, a crucial break on P4, and that's really, I think, what brings that game home.
Yeah, I think the real difference maker you've seen from Vanquish was the fact that that P3 rotation that I got a hold of initially, that's all they really did in terms of big chunks of time. They were kind of chipping away across the board, found some decent time in terms of a couple of breaks, excuse me, as they found it in over towards P1 and P4 especially, but when you look at what Nexus did, every single time that they got an opportunity, it felt like they were getting 30 or 40 points. The same couldn't quite be said for the side of Vanquish, who, yeah, might have found themselves a full 60, but what position would they have been in without that? Nexus do a really good job at just chipping away, playing good fundamental hard point, and the breaks just coming that little bit better. I want to say operator usage, we see on a couple of occasions at Vanquish, it felt like they had an advantage in that certain scenario, but didn't quite use it to the best of their ability. A couple of times you'll see an Annihilator pulled for 1 kill, or a War Machine for 1, or an Equalizer for 1 on the side of Vanquish. Felt at least like there was a lot more of that from that side, rather than the Nexus side who are making them count. Looking over towards the scoreboard to end things up though, 41 and 29 from HBC. Huge outlier for everybody else in the lobby actually. Fantastic performance from him, coming away as the MVP of his side. But Vanquish, I think it's a tough one, especially on Lydia, who had performed there plenty of time in the hill, 30 kills as well. Tough one to take.
Yeah, I do really feel bad for Lydia as well because, you know, and again, I don't mean to drag anyone here in the performance, but, you know, we don't often see those kind of performances out of Lydia. I mean, let's be frank, let's call it for what it is. Lydia, I think last season could at times maybe not have the best games. Here she comes out 38 and 27. She's a big reason why they were able to hold for basically the first half of that game. That P3 hold they got, I think she got 2 respective 3 pieces that basically enabled them to get control of that hard point for the full time and to still not win off the back of that game. That is incredibly frustrating. So map number 1 is going to go the way of Nexus. A solid start in the series for them, but they certainly had to fight for it. Next up is going to be an Express Search and Destroy. And going back to the Search and Destroy that we saw yesterday for both of these teams, I mean, let's be honest, it wasn't a good time. But I would argue there were more spots of hope for Nexus in their matchup versus Wanted on Corona.
I mean, it's not like they had much of a comparison to go against, right? I mean, they got beat 7-0 if you Vanquish, so you really had nothing to sort of play on today heading into this one. But it is a different map and it's a different opponent. I think if you were to talk about it specifically on Express, I'd imagine we're going to see a lot of B hits coming in. We're going to see a lot of 50-50s where it comes down to these just headbutting over towards the site. If I was to lean in one direction for them, it could be Vanquish potentially if Lydia can carry that form over from map number 1, but if she cannot, then all of a sudden Nexus could be staring down the barrel of a 2-0 lead, and that's something they absolutely want. I think for both these two teams though, going into this one, the pressure is on in this game because the pressure certainly won't be on in the second, going up against, of course, our number 1 seed coming into this group. It's going to be a tough one, but after this round starts to unfold, balance already left in a 1 versus 3, and they're straight away. I mean, you see these ones come down to it and over towards B. These can end so fast, Brody. Again, talking too long. It happens so quickly.
You know what's funny is I remember Black Ops 2 Express Search and Destroy, and it was never this fast. It's so fast here in Convo, but just so many of these rounds come down to butting heads on B. And it feels like we're going to see the exact same thing once again here. Nexus Smoke's looking for all the kills here. Balance not going to hit much at all. And Turtle's also going to get cut short. And Lydia's finding some value here for Vanquish. So for Nexus, this hit towards B has gone fully Orion. The one player you didn't want to go down in this situation was Legacy. If anybody faints at the very least, will snap on towards Gone. But still, they do not have the bomb. And that is the biggest problem here in neon flashing lights for Nexus.
I really actually quite kind of like what Vanquish did there. The smokes go down. They just sit back. They just hold it. All of a sudden, HBC is left on his own in a 1 versus 4. Not going to catch anything here. Vanquish 2 to the good. And very, very quickly on the defense, find themselves in a comfortable little lead. Plenty of time for Nexus to bring this one back. Now, I wonder if your Nexus in this scenario, after those 2 rounds, don't go your way to year B again. You don't. You change things up slightly.
Yeah, it's going to be from the middle of the map this time around. Nexus going to win those initial gunfights. So things actually going their way for once, but they haven't kept track of a player that sat in the middle of the map. No, you have to find some value there, and you don't find anything whatsoever. Nexus should be able to get this bomb down now. Feints is going to fall, but as the bomb gets planted here for Vanquish, and Lydia goes down, Kirby a 1 versus 3. At the very least, you've got the Tundra to work with.
Hard angle to chase on your right-hand side, though. HPC holding it tightly, and Legacy holding the other side. Nexus get themselves 1 back here. And that's much better from them. You see so many times that teams will just kind of go for the child checks to go over towards B, right? It's just like, right, okay, who wants to get amongst it then? And those 2 sort of square-ups go the way of Vanquish, so Nexus do change things up in round number 3, and they've changed things up in round number 4. Vanquish putting all their eggs in the 50-50 at B, whereas all of a sudden Nexus have a completely free A site to get the plant down on.
And these are the adaptations you want to see out of teams. Things aren't working out for the first couple of rounds. Change tack, but you need to do this quickly because Cuban's going for the jump up of the train, and Q's already found some value. Cuban for a couple of kills now. How much more can Cuban find? Well, he is going to get shut down, as is Gone. So Vanquish do not have the numbers here in a 2 versus 3 on the site defense, but he's going to pick up 1. Kirby over the train will find a second as well. And there goes Feints 2. Vanquish will be able to successfully retake this site. And Kirby, with the quick scopes, big reason why.
I don't even know if the other player's seen him when he's fired that shot over. You could see him on the minimap and then see him in the cop vision, of course, as well, but fantastic shots coming through. Will find themselves in a 3-1 lead now. Really good job from Vanquish. That was a retake that wasn't looking likely after you lose those couple of kills very, very quickly. Nexus needs to answer back here again. It's going to be A once more, but you've got to hold it a lot tighter if you do get in again.
Yeah, you know you can be successful with getting the bomb down here, but even this, you're kind of seeing Nexus somewhat change tact here. They don't want to be as aggressive with it. They want to get the kills before doing so. And they might be gifted 1 at least. Yeah, Legacy's going to get Lydia out in the open. So Nexus now, I think off the back of that, especially as Balance finds Gone, this should be enough here to get the bomb down, and it will be. But they're still on the hunt for more. Legacy's going to find ZZ, and now you know where those last 2 players are going to be coming from as well.
Just pop-shotting away. Maybe being a little bit overzealous, but Turtle and Co are here to clean it up, and Kirby left all on his own. And getting the hell out of Dodge as quickly as he can. 25 seconds to go. He's been absolutely surrounded. Really good job from Nexus.
Wow. Nexus. I mean, they're making the adaptations. I got to say this much, you know, even though they're down right now, I think the first couple of rounds probably hurt the scoreboard more than arguably it should. Fact of the matter is, for me, they have made the adaptations, but is it too little too late? Looking for the final offensive effort hit, and it's going to be a delayed hit towards B. They've let Vanquish on towards the site. They're waiting for the aggression. Legacy perfectly predicts that someone's going to try and make their way towards the catwalk. Gone was that player, and he is immediately dispatched with. There goes ZZ as well. Again, a perfect strategy out of the playbook from Nexus.
Oh, it's just working perfectly. Vanquish just doing the same thing over and over. Kirby, oh, he's done so well to found 2. Oh, can he find the 3rd onto HBC? Not quite. Did so well to find the 2 first initial kills, and oh, I mean, things got nearly very, very interesting there. Lydia now left all alone. 1 versus 3. What can she manage to pull off here? Needs to find the first one pretty quickly, but with 20 seconds to go, it is just becoming an impossible task. Hold on, there's 2 people watching the exact same direction. Lydia catches 2. can go for the bomb here. Get it partially defused. 8 seconds to go now. The child's going to come on through, and Lydia will be dealt with, but Nexus comms not on point yet.
And again, I don't want to be that guy, but you can't let that happen against some of the top tier teams, let alone Vanquish. Almost giving away a freebie 1 versus 3. Lydia makes the right play calls there in it, but now we switch sides. Vanquish on the offense. We're going back to those standard strategies here. Do what you know works best. Straight on towards B they go. Balance going to open up seasons with the first gunfight and finds a second as well. Up top, Turtle is going to take CZ out of the play. It's just one player left on the site to deal with. It's going to be Kirby. Gone on the other side, to be fair. Actually going to find 3 long-range gunfights with the R9. I don't know if Gon is done, but he has to get a second kill up top. Not going to be able to do so as HBC is going to remove him from the situation. One of those fast rounds here on Express Search and Destroy as both teams butt heads on B.
I mean, that's surprising to see that kind of tactic come through for Nexus, if anything, because every single time they have went in this direction, it hadn't worked in their favor until that time. Vanquish, though, it has been working for them, and this time it is going to work on them on the first play. Turtle will find one. Can Turtle find something else here as well? He's done so well to find the shots on the gun, who could just not capitalize. All of a sudden, Turtle's going to try and find 3, cannot. Now with 3 versus 2, as Kirby will find another. Legacy and HBC with a lot of work to do here if they want to make it 5-3. Legacy can find 1, though, and now a 2 versus 2.
Just don't give him the close-range gunfights. He's got an R9. Stop giving him the close-range gunfights, Kirby. And now he's got the sniper rifle as well. HBC's going to be the player to do it in the middle of the map, and yet... I mean, the fact that you can close range like that, I know the R9 is just, it's got a ridiculous range on it, but the fact that you can close range like that, you're able to pick up the couple of kills there towards the site and flip the round in your favor. I mean, Nexus is going to take that all day long. So 2 defensive rounds at the back-to-back now from Nexus. And once again, straight towards B we go for Vanquish.
Turtle this time will not get the better of them. Balanced Legacy, though, will do so well, and how things have turned so quickly in the Search and Destroy. The rounds are not lasting long, but ultimately now Nexus can start to advance forward. Kirby will get taken down. A fantastic shot coming through from Feints, and Lydia left all on her own. Nearly a perfect round coming through from Nexus, who will now find themselves 6-3 up and absolutely cruising. They were 2-0 down, and things changed very quickly. Nexus now cruising at 6-3.
Gotta say as well, Balance has joined the roster for today's games, and I've got a feeling that was a real good choice for Nexus, because he's now picked up what? Back-to-back rounds worth of 2 pieces. Big reason why they're able to take them away. Nexus now just 1 round away from victory here. Lydia opening up there with the first blood in this round. Good read on a couple of players hitting the middle of the map. Still though, big 1v1 perhaps taking place over by B. Turtle's going to win that one against ZZ, and elsewhere HBC has taken Kirby out of the play. So for Vanquish having an advantageous start to this round, it's all fallen apart.
An advantageous start to the Search and Destroy, and things have crumbled very quickly. Lydia now, I mean, has Cuban with him, but I mean, it's just going to be red. Turtle is here to find 1. Turtle is here to find 2, as it so often is. Fantastic job coming through from Nexus. After what was a tough start to the Search and Destroy, they turned around very quickly. 2 rounds simultaneously for Vanquish. They would only find 1 more out of the next 8. Really good job coming through from the side of Nexus. The adaptations showing, especially in those attacking rounds where things weren't working out in their favor over towards B. They're like, oh, okay, that's no problem. We'll start going over towards A. We'll start going through mid, changing things up. Worked in their favor. Vanquish could do very little after that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the scoreboard only looks the way it does, and I know this is going to be full head comment of the day because of the first 2 rounds from Vanquish, right? I mean, over 3 rounds are actually able to win versus Nexus. The 2 of them came from the very first couple, and that was simply because they outgunned Nexus on those headbutts towards B. Past that point, I think you could see Nexus were significantly better at making the adaptations when required. I mean, you could even see it early on in those offensive rounds. When Nexus just looked head and shoulders above Vanquish. And if Ho's out on the scoreline as well, we look over towards the performers in that matchup. Turtle with 13 kills, Legacy with 11. And Balance, I think especially, I mentioned it there in the penultimate round, definitely stepped things up in the final 3 rounds. Just solid performances all around coming out from Nexus. And as a team, they look better. Honestly, again, you know, I kind of mentioned it very briefly. Balance, I don't believe, was playing yesterday. He needs to be playing. Like he needs to be on this roster. Like I said the same thing when he was on Omniscient last season. I know there were some disagreements about that, but like there's no real reason that Balance should not be playing on this Nexus team.
Sensational work coming through from Nexus. Find themselves 2-0 up now. And the control incoming. I mean, for Vanquish yesterday, this was a potential positive one. You know, we've seen them do really well in Arsenal, at least for the final, well, 2 of the last 3 rounds where they were able to take it away. I don't know if they'll be able to do it this time, though, but by the looks of things, Nexus just seemed to have their number. And for Vanquish, was it down to those moments where you could just find the spawn trap? I'd love to give them more hope, but 2-0 down in this moment, a very, very quick search and destroy. I think it's a hard one to lean towards Vanquish, to be honest with you.
Well, look, the only positive I would say going in towards this control is that control we saw yesterday between Vanquish and Animus, right? Where it felt like, look, Vanquish are actually holding back Animus. They looked pretty good in the control, right? For the last couple of rounds, it looked like an entirely different roster altogether. And so we know, at least, maybe if it's specific to control, I'm not too sure. We know there is kind of another form of Vanquish that maybe hasn't been present in this series, I think is the best way to put it. Maybe it could show up here in the control. Now is the time to do it, though, because you need to start to put the reverse sweep together right here.
Yeah, I think the controls especially with the way that the phone top goes on top, you can kind of go over mixing up areas coming through.
Certain things can turn very, very quickly. So let's see if either one of these teams can get that side of luck. I'd love to give Vanquish some credit in this one. Let's see if we can actually start getting excited about something they can potentially do, because Nexus right now are cruising in this game, 2-0 up. Map number 1, okay, it was relatively comfortable in the end after a good start from Vanquish. Same story again in map number 2. They seem to come out the gate swinging, but can they kind of keep things up here as we head into map number 3 in just a second? I think whatever happens, the next game is going to be a tough one for both these two teams, but Nexus looking a lot better here, a lot cleaner than the game against Wanted. Can they close it out in clean fashion themselves and a 3-0 win? That's what they'll be looking for here on Arsenal Control.
Yep. Well, again, we didn't really get to see much of these two teams yesterday because they both got 0-3 at the start of the day. Now we've seen a little bit more. I think we're thoroughly impressed with what we've seen from Nexus. They want to have a solid start to this control as well, and it feels like an immediate hit straight towards A is the plan for Nexus. Have they got all their angles covered, though, is the question for me. Utility out towards the middle window. Got to be careful that you don't allow Cuban and Kirby to pick up gunfights. They've already done so, but good trades coming through. HBC for 3, clearing house once again. And while there is a trade, again, those 3 kills are paramount in not allowing Vanquish to push straight across the map off the back of a wave of gunfights and get that spawn trap going.
Crucially, you found them. Nexus now gonna have to fight off the back foot just a little bit, but a good gunfight for HBC to try and find. And now it just slows down ever so slightly. Neither team really wants to make a misstep because it can turn into a round killer. Balance and Turtle have done well over towards A, though, and a push over towards B starting to come through. That one is going to be shut down. So A looking the more likely target. Feints is going to be able to find a way through, as is the side of Turtle. He's going to be able to find the kill. So a little bit of A control now for Nexus eventually. Timing. Wow.
Yeah, not the greatest there for Turtle as he gets shut down by Gaunt. And again, Nexus, not quite as convincing a map control as they probably would like. Again, enough that Vanquish have not been able to put that spawn trap together just yet. Key gunfights being one across the map here from Nexus. Legacy able to take one in the middle of the map will give him a chance to put together a potential flank against Vanquish while the rest of his team push through the front. Turtle just runs straight out into the open, dilly-dallying, will get shut down after picking up one gunfight. Zeezy's able to double up along that B street as well. And Nexus, they just keep on trying to push this B street. None of it is really working. And if I'm Nexus here, I go straight towards A. They've already won the gunfights required to do so. The clock will stop and an extra 60 seconds will get added to the board here as A goes the way of Nexus.
Good job from Nexus, though, at the same time as it was a good job from Vanquish. Cuban will find a couple, though, off the side of the window, and then all of a sudden, things get a little bit more dangerous. Feints down in the middle of the map. Looking to try and regain some sort of control as Cuban is trying to put that pressure on now, and Cuban's doing a really good job of putting that pressure on. Finds 2 before falling. Balance is there to answer the question, but 12 versus 7 in favor of Vanquish. Now making it now an 11 versus 6. These next couple of gunfights are so crucial. Zize can find another Lydia with one more, and that should be the round now. Vanquish. It was just a good start to the round, to be honest with you, and a good hold over towards B. Really good job coming through from Vanquish. 11v3. Nexus, not hoping help.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd be surprised. You never want to count a team out, right? Even in situations like this, because you never fully know. But yeah, I think especially with that flanking player going down now, Feints out of the round, Legacy is not going to pull off a 1 versus 11. If he does, I'll buy him a pint of water. Legacy looking for something. Yeah, I don't know if we can say that on broadcast. But Legacy looking for something here. Nade over the top. He's going to get cut down from behind, surely, here. And there you go. Finally, it's a prolonged ending. It's a slow death in that round, but it is a death nonetheless. And I got to say, it's a weird one because generally speaking, you expect teams to lose out on some kind of spawn trap. Vanquish didn't get one at all in that round. They lost that in the middle of the map. Vanquish never pushed the issue, and Nexus, never really tried to get in behind. So Nexus now need to try and fight back here on the defense, and they're going to do so by being honest with it straight towards B.
You've lingered long enough that we can't go into the pine question, but just knowing it has been noted. Legacy now trying to get something going for Nexus on the defensive side. Could do clearing them out, and they will. One more player actually left remaining, though. That's going to be Lydia. Caused an issue for only a second, and now you can force your way forward. Claw in this position, though, is just absolute nightmare fuel. If you can push through, find anything else onto Kirby, and has the help onto Cuban. Really good job, and now all of a sudden the potential spawn trap could be coming through. Just setting themselves up in an advanced position. One more wave of kills, and Vanquish are in a lot of trouble.
Yep. Well, if Vanquish won't take advantage of it in the prior round, Nexus most certainly will. Looking for the gunfights now on Nexus. Going to find the vast majority of them. Only one player gets through, and Gon is very swiftly dealt with as well. HBC in from behind. What damage can they do? HBC piecing up once more. He's going to go down, but it's okay because the rest of the team are there as a backstop. Legacy, though, is the only one furthest pushed up now, so he needs to find some value, and finally the spawn trap will break. But look at the damage that is done, both to the lives and the scoreboard. An 11 life differential between these two teams. 15 seconds left now. Vanquish, they have to full send it to one of these points right about now, and Turtle is about to make the play in from behind. He's probably got the perfect timing as well. I don't know if Lydia off the back of the spawn is going to be able to do anything about this. There it is. The kills are coming through. Team shots pretty good.
Wow.
And there goes the timer on the board. That is why the spawn trap is horrendous to be in here on Arsenal Control.
And we never seen Vanquish really get an opportunity to put it down themselves. Nexus, perfect example. A really good job coming through from them. Legacy, 14 kills to his name after 2 rounds. Not too shabby of a return. It's very British saying that one. I'm not too sure if the Americans will cotton onto that one, Brody, but we'll allow them to work it out. Here we are, though. Push forward for Nexus now. Can they do something just a little bit better? Last round, it felt as if they just never found those extra kills, but now they have, arrows with exploding things at the end of them, so that also helps out. The Sparrow's out. Now you can push your way through. Legacy's going to call in the Predator missile, so an opportunity to get a hold of A pretty quickly here for the side of Nexus.
Yeah, I think they want to be a lot more certain about the way in which they play this round comparatively to what happened in the last. And yeah, you're absolutely right, mate, to point it out. I mean, this is significantly more certain, isn't it? Second tick already through on A. War Machine coming out from balance as well to really start to bring this one home. Kills being made across the board here, Ton. This round might be done and dusted right about here. There goes A. Extra 60 seconds on the board. I don't really know if Nexus will require it. They're watching every different angle. Finally, kills starting to come through here from Vanquish. Legacy and Turtle isolated on the point. Turtle's going to find one before falling. Legacy, what value can they find? No. Big kill coming through from Kirby. So Vanquish hold, but look at how much damage Nexus has done.
I mean, that is just a phenomenal start to the round. Thankfully for Vanquish, they are able to gain some control once again. Cuban's popped the Annihilator, so we'll be waiting for any push to start to come through over towards this side, but right now, he's shooting at thin air. There is nobody here. Balance is, of course, going to throw a shoulder. We'll back on down. We'll keep an eye on the minimap in your bottom left corner. Number 1 and number 2 from Nexus. Legacy and Feints are making the move over towards the spawn trap. For this to work, though, Nexus need to find some kills.
Yeah, Vanquish are doing so for the spawn trap. Nexus on the other side, as you said, looking for kills of their own. Legacy's going to do exactly that, and he's going to bring out the claw as well. So this is really frustrating on the other side. You're dealing with the kills, and towards the spawn trap that Vanquish had set up, it's gone all right. There's only one player left on the other side. Legacy is finding all of these kills. You are in the blender. Hello, welcome. Say hello to my little claw. And finally, we see an acquiescence of for those spawn traps. Legacy goes down. Nexus are out of theirs. It's a 10 versus 11 in favor of Nexus, and here comes the Predator missile from Legacy.
Yeah, I mean, Legacy's going to call that in, and all of a sudden, this is big, big trouble. On the other side of things, Turtle will call one in, but Kirby's doing a really good job here with the War Machine. Lydia will try and hold him down. 7v9 in favor of Nexus now, who can start to make a move onto the point. Gon in a really good position in towards the vents, though. Cuban will find one. Gon finds two. Gon finds a third. And all of a sudden, this is made to be looking very, very difficult for Nexus. Vanquish have 6 lives remaining. Nexus only the 5. There is very, very little in this one. Looking over towards the operators, though. Vanquish, if you can hold on to all 3 that you still do have, that's a massive bonus for the next round if you can win this one as well.
If I'm Nexus, I think I try and draw one of those out, right? 20 seconds, though. You don't have much time to strategize here. There goes the first kill. Nice team shots from Balance and Feints. In the event goes Turtle as well.
Wow.
Vanquish have lost a player. ZZ's going to be forced to bring out one of those operators we were talking about. What value can ZZ find with it? Absolutely nothing. Only one kill. Cuban now for a 1 versus 3. Make it a 1 versus 2. 14 seconds on the clock. The time is stopped. The player's on the point. It's going to force Cuban to sprint towards it. He can't do anything. And Nexus take the offensive round. Good job too, because they really did press the issue there time and time again.
Yeah, overall, deserved winners in that round. I want to give a big shout out to Gon, actually. He hasn't necessarily performed to the highest levels for this Vanquish squad throughout this series, but he's had his moments. He found 3, was sitting in the vent for so long, get some terrible timing. I think it was against Feints. Then all of a sudden, Vanquish are backs against the wall. They're 2-0 down in the series. You're 2-1 down on the control. You're on the attack, but you still have 2 operators to your name to try and do something with. Yeah, Fates is going to be able to find one at the gun, and all of a sudden Nexus is going to start squeezing that net. When we're thinking about the spawn kill that potentially could be coming through. A few players inside of it, though, here for the side of Vanquish, and potentially something to work with.
Yeah, I bring those operators out pretty damn fast if I'm Vanquish. Of course, there are a couple on the other side for Nexus, and Nexus, I think, getting ready for the spawn trap. Vanquish have to win these gunfights. That is the entire play around this gamble. Vanquish might even be gifted A. Lydia's going to go down towards the point. Balance, I think, will give this a shot. Lydia now in that spawn trap. Yep, she comes off the spawn. Turtle's going to take them out. So Nexus here, going to start to spawn trap these players through. Vanquish towards a point as well, will end up falling. Cuban and Lydia are now going to be stuck in this one. Towards the point, though, I believe there's a couple of players still left to take out of the play. Gon, ZZ, and Kirby haven't gone yet, and they're on B.
They're on B, and they are just chilling. Couple of ticks in. The spawn trap is still going here, though. You can see Cuban, though, is going to shut it down momentarily. Feints is going to be there to finally find something. But all of this work on the spawn trap is all very well, but you need to get them off the point. All of a sudden, 2 players on it. There's only 1 remaining. You got to get a touch here. ZZ is going to be able to find the kill. That might be gone. You got to go with your HPC. Everybody else coming in off the respawn. Have you misstepped? Have you misplayed? If you're Nexus, you may well have. There's an opportunity now as HPC will fall. Everybody has to filter through. That is a fumble if I've ever seen one. And look, it's a frustration when it does come down to this spawn trap, because it is useful, but only at the right times. And that wasn't the right time for Nexus.
I think the thing is as well, right? I mean, it's a gamble at the end of the day. If you set that up, if you put 2 players into a spawn trap, it can work out. But there you saw a perfect example of, all right, it didn't work out because you did not get the first few kills. You allowed those players to get the kills. And of course, I believe they actually had a player in the spawn of their own. Free reign on B. And it works out perfectly for Vanquish. That is a perfect way to respond to spawn trap. Now we're getting towards this round, though. And already the first few kills coming on through as Vanquish attempt to make their way on towards A. They win 3 gunfights between Gon and Cuban. And now they can basically have free reign on A. Nexus are nowhere near defending this.
Nexus do have a couple of operators available, but as do Vanquish. HPC will find a kill, and they will start to maybe force the issue towards those spawns again, but dare they, to be honest with you, after what happened last time? That is arguably embarrassing. One of those situations that you just absolutely have to make sure you convert. I mean, it was like, what, 2 or 3 players from Vanquish that made it work all on their own. They're not going to be able to make it work this time, though. They are potentially now going to get forced in their spawn. This is where things get very, very dangerous for a spawn trap. You lose this next wave of kills if you're Vanquish, you are in an awful spot.
And you got to make sure don't lose these gunfights. Kirby's going to find one. ZZ for a second one. Big gunfights being won, but Legacy with the claw here might well just wipe both of those players, and they do. And that's alleviated a lot of pressure. That's allowing Nexus back into those spawn trap positions, but a couple of Vanquish players have managed to get past. Through the side door they go, but again, the fact that Nexus have replenished their forces through the middle of the map here means they are ready for this. Feints, can they find any value here? Balance goes down. Time for Feints to bring out the Sparrow to find some, and Feints will pick up a couple of kills, just 1 more up top of the deal with, and Cuban has scarpered. Vanquish, they are desperately trying to find a way through, but there's only 10 seconds left.
There's 1 player on the flank. That's going to be Lydia. She's going to be able to stop the time. Now inside the point that goes, ZZ and Gon are going to be able to do something here. Cuban already operating the Annihilator as well. But Legacy and Cole will find the kills. They'll force them away. Vanquish, you need to find everything and more. It's not going to happen. Nexus will put this one to bed. Legacy with the rubber stamp in it, and that will be the game. Nexus 3-0 against Vanquish, who will crash out. But Nexus clutch up in the control. Some question marks still. Definitely, especially towards that 4th round, which will be one they'll have to decipher. But ultimately, over the course of the entire map and the entire series, just a step ahead. Vanquish with a lot of work to do in the next opportunity. Nexus, their opportunity will continue.
And I'm just so confused how it's the exact same story, more or less, from yesterday, right? For Vanquish, where the hardpoint and the search and destroy, there's not really anything to talk about. Let's call it for what it is, right? I mean, they didn't really look competitive in those modes whatsoever, apart from maybe the start of the hardpoint. But the control, all of a sudden, Vanquish seem to know what they're doing. They seem to be able to put hits together, and again, I mean, to be fair, they are kind of gifted that round up before, but nonetheless, I think we have to give them their props where it is required, because they did look good, especially in those early rounds. We look over the final scoreboard, though, and you can start to get a picture as to why Nexus are able to walk away with the victory that they do, because Legacy finishes with 35 kills. Mind you, I'm fairly certain that about 10 to maybe 15 of those come directly from Claw spawn trap plays. But still, you got to give them props. Faints as well at 25 and 13. Both of those guys had phenomenal moments with the operators when they needed to.
Nexus get the job done.
In general... Oh, go ahead.
No, it's all right. Lauren, I was going to invite you back in. I didn't realize you were there, if I'm honest with you.
Honestly, I have been anxiously waiting in the wings, because I didn't know at any point during that control if it was going to go the way of Vanquish and if we were going to keep going with the series, or, you know, if Nexus was going to be able to close that out. And that was definitely a nail biter in that last mode. Not early enough, though, on behalf of Vanquish, and Nexus will at least live to see another step in this bracket process. And you guys had even talked about it heading into this first match of the day, that Nexus showed lots of moments of promise against Wanted. Wanted were the ones to take out Animus, so that there was definitely an opportunity for Nexus to do something here, and kind of closing that out in 3-0 fashion to start off the day is also going to be a good boost for them momentum-wise, because now they're going to be heading into this next matchup against Animus with a little bit of confidence and knowing that they are able to potentially improve their gameplay against a team like Animus, Brody.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think Nexus look a whole lot better, and I mentioned it in the middle of that matchup. I think a big reason why is the fact they've actually changed their roster to inarguably the better composition of the team. Like, Balance being on the roster has improved them a lot. It's exact same story that we saw with Omniscient last season. Balance is a really good addition to any team, and I think him playing for Nexus here makes a lot of sense, and it will make them more competitive with Animus. I do think Animus should not be taking this one lightly. Just like yesterday, I think they are going to be surprised how competitive this series is about to be.
We love it. We love that this is what the region is bringing to the table. This is what we were hoping for in the challenge season, especially when it comes down to fighting for the last spot in the challenge finals, which of the teams are the best four in the region, because that's really what it is all kind of boiling down to. We went from 16 down to 8 in open finals, 8 here in the challenge season, now down to 4 for challenge finals. And then at the end of it all, who's going to be the best in the region? Who's going to get that spot to go through to champs? So it's only going to get more exciting from here. Obviously, now that means Nexus will have to do these back-to-back matches, so we need to give them a little bit of time to prepare to do that as well. So before we get into the final match of today for that spot in challenge finals, we're going to take a short break, give our team some time to prepare, reset, and rest before we get into it. So don't go anywhere. You're watching the Snapdragon Pro Series.
Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, Monster Energy, and DHL.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series. We just finished our first match of the day, eliminated our first team here in Group B, and now it's time for the last match to determine which of our teams will claim that fourth and final spot in the Challenge Finals. Animus has been waiting to see who they will be facing off against. It was Nexus who were able to close out the first series in a 3-0 fashion, and now they must go again. It's gonna be a good one here, Ton.
It should be. I mean, look, if the Animus that turned up yesterday turns up here, we've got a really good game on our hands. But it's just a query of what Nexus turns up, what Animus turns up, really sets the precedent for this series in particular. But yeah, Animus yesterday will be licking their wounds after not fighting themselves through 2 games in a row. You were expecting that. We were all expecting it. Maybe wanted to give them a game, but the fact that they went on to beat them in a map 5 thriller, I don't think it'll bode well with Animus heading into this game today.
Yeah, I mean, they probably will have a bit of a chip on their shoulder and try to prove themselves here in this last series, as we also have our map picks. They should be ready to kind of come through, and we can start talking about those as well and see what both teams have decided on here for their last opportunity. Hacienda Hardpoint Brody looks
Oh, I can't believe
shocked.
it. I can't do this. I can't keep it up anymore, guys. Hacienda Hardpoint. It's here again. What a surprise. All right, that's in the series. We don't need to talk about that. There is a Tunisia Search and Destroy, which we would have got last series had we gone the distance, which I think is relatively intriguing. It is worth saying, I was going to say we saw it yesterday from Animus, but we actually didn't. Yeah, interesting one, I think, for map number 2. Arsenal. I don't know why everyone's playing Arsenal Control now. Everyone's just forgotten that raid exists, apparently. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this is a pretty standard series. I don't think there's anything particularly intriguing here from either of these two teams, to be honest. That the Hacienda is the only thing we've seen from either of these guys, I'm pretty sure, and the Arsenal Control as well.
I think for me, seeing an Arsenal in there, it is always a bit of a curveball. I feel as if some of these teams who are coming into it and may well not be as well versed just in general as a team, maybe not be as good of a team. It feels like Arsenal Control is one of those you can kind of steal away. You get a couple of decent moments here and there in terms of a spawn trap, then you can steal around out of absolutely nothing. So let's see how both these two teams are going to play it. But I do feel as if it's, I don't want to call it a cheese map, it's not, but it definitely has an element of that where you can potentially get away with it even if you aren't the better team.
Well, either way, this is going to be the last match of the challenge season. This is how it all closes out. I hope both of these squads are ready to bring it here and fight for this last spot in challenge finals. Everybody at home, let us know your thoughts. Since it is the last match, do you think it's going to be Animus who will claim the final spot, or will it be Nexus after they 3-0'd Vanquish to start off the day? I can't wait to get into it and see how all of it plays out. The players should be ready to go. The match is about to get underway. So let's get into the last match of the challenge season.
All right, last match of the challenge season. God, it's been such a short challenge season this time around for Europe. I feel sad already that this is where we're at right now. We're already going to be down to our final 4 teams at the end of this match time. We're kicking off the best of 5, as we always do, with a hard point. And I got to say, for me, this is where Nexus get into the series, if it's anywhere. We come off the back of yesterday's series with that game 5 between Wanted and Animus, which Wanted were able to walk away with the victory and qualify for challenge finals. And I think the one thing we noted was hardpoint needs to be improved from Animus, but will they fall to Nexus is a different question entirely.
Yeah, and just to touch on the end of the season already, I mean, I feel like I've been here for 2 seconds. we're already off in Europe. Of course, we do have the finals coming up in a couple of weeks' time, but irrelevant of that, I think for both these two squads, it is about just improvement in general from their performances yesterday. For Animus more so, because we know how much more they have to give. Again, I think that first map is going to be, I don't want to say it's crucial for Animus to find this, because we know they are very, very good in the other game types, but all of a sudden it comes down to, if you lose this map and you lose the other half point, all of a sudden we are very much heading to a map number 5, which you lost yesterday. So let's see if they can turn it on here. We know they have it in their locker to find something, the final spot in challenge finals for Europe at the SPS Masters. Yeah, it is just so important for both these two teams to have a good start.
Yeah, and we expect Animus to come out of the gate swinging here in this series. We have to have it from Animus. We don't want to see any slow starts between Animus and Nexus. We'll see, though. Animus going to kick things off with the first couple of kills in the first bit of time on the board. Trades going in their favor. Nexus, though, they do have control. I was going to say if the PT rotation. Right now, though, it seems like HBC is the only one on that side. And as I say, that turtle will spawn up in from behind. So Nexus right now in control of those P2 spawns. Animus, though, still vying for control of time. And as I say that, it is going to be Nexus looking to get it. They get a few kills in the middle of the map, and they get control of it.
That's what you want to have as soon as you possibly can. Rotation over towards P2, looking good here for Animus. 10 seconds to go over towards P1. I think, you know, we are questioning Animus. We're sort of saying, what has that result yesterday done to them? I think we still expect them to probably win this game, but what can Nexus bring to the table? Can they show us something? Can they punish Animus for their lackluster hardpoint? Well, they may well do so here. A few kills will go their way, and Animus will have to hold it down with a disadvantage in numbers. Nox inside the point is the only one there, but through the side door is the rest of Animus. Now it's going to be a push from 2 different sides. You've got to deal with one and then turn around and deal with everybody else pushing up the driveway. Shark can find one, can't find the second. Good work from Nexus so far. Animus just about holding tight, but not for long. They fall and Nexus find a way in.
And Nexus winning the gunfights around the backline as well. So while Animus might well be close around the front here, and the Nexus are still fighting this one tooth and nail to get control of it. Got to be careful about any potential flanking players. Big gunfight being one on the flank there from Legacy towards the front of the hill, though. Animus starting to mount this push through. Rasmo already picking things up with the first couple of kills. Says will also find one. Animus winning the overwhelming amount of gunfights and his balance against his former teammates here in towards the hard points. Can't really do anything beyond the one gunfight. So Animus should be comfortable to get the last 10 seconds of time here. Feint is still going to go for it, but Animus now with overwhelming numbers short of Legacy being able to line these guys up. And to be fair, Rasmo and Shark do line themselves up. While it is going to be, therefore, that Nexus should be able to get that last bit of scrap time, but move towards a rotation. Animus, but while they don't have everybody over here by new, they've got one player that was being sneaky inside tin. Yeah, Gafilla activates at the right time to enable his teammates to get towards the time.
And I wonder if it was worth that push through for Legacy, though, to find two towards the end. Does it get you a great deal of value? Well, you'll find Gathilla on the rotation over towards Nexus. You'll find another as well. The rotation was looking okay for Animus. He did have somebody behind enemy lines, and they're just about holding on. Shark just doing Shark things. Says, though, you can see in the top left corner, everything we brought into the equation now as the war machine is out and just pinging away towards the spawn. Hasn't been able to find much, but Rasmus Shark have done really good job coming through from Animus. Some good time on offer here. 25 seconds to go on P3, and you have the opportunity to find a decent amount of time.
Again, this hill is always super mixy just because of the close spawns, so I'm not really going to be surprised to see it not really go to either of these two teams. As I say that, though, Turtle and Legacy are going to be combined for 3. Nexus now looking for the time off the back of the last 10 seconds here. Animus gonna have to give that time up. They want to focus on the rotation. There was one player to contend with, and that player has been swiftly dealt with here. So while they don't get the vast majority of time off the back of the last hill, they should be the first team to touch over by new. And they've already got 4 players sat around this hill. So just gonna stack it, try and keep control of it. And there's gonna be an investment coming through from Nexus that is extremely short-lived. Good hold so far from Animus.
I want to say that Animus have really found the rotation over towards P2 and 4, and we're 50-50 over towards P3. So Nexus, give them credit for being close in this game, as Shark will eventually fall with the equalizer in hand. Giving them props for being close, but almost if you found a couple of rotations, how much nicer would this have looked? Animus now finding an opportunity, though, to find maybe potentially another 30 seconds here as Nexus will start to find the push through. Shark will find 2, though. Absolutely nothing. Animus looking like they can hold this down. Nexus still within touching distance.
And Nexus still have players inside as well. Turtle has played their life perfectly. Turtle's going to find another kill as well. So that's 2 for Turtle. That's 3 for Turtle. Nexus might be able to get the back 13 seconds off the back of this as well. Hunter killer drone in the air isn't actually going to find anything. And Saze and Rasmo will answer back just as quickly. So Animus not done with that scrap time, not done with that kill. They will walk away at the end of the first set with a slight advantage over Nexus. But again, we were talking about Nexus being competitive in this hardpoint ton. They have come out to play against Animus, and they're still looking to try and take this map away, a big one in the series if they can do so.
And again, just to further touch on my point, what we were talking about over towards P4, Animus are finding rotations. I mean, it was 3 out of the 4 for the most part that they found a way there, and of course P1 doesn't really count. They're still not finding themselves with a great lead. It seems as if holding has been their issue. I'd love to see if we get some actual analytics in terms of how their holding percentage, that kind of thing is. I know we can delve deeper in potentially in other back-end instances, but Rasmo will delve deep himself here. Claw out can find 3. Animus rotation is once again here, and this time they are holding.
Yeah, this time Animus doing a good job of keeping Nexus out of this hard point. Rasmo lining these guys up. They're running right in his LOS, and easily Rasmo's going to take those players down. But just as I say, just as we were talking about a solid hold from Animus, the last 15 seconds looked like it might go Nexus's way. Shark is able to walk away with a couple of kills. Oh no, then Shark's going to triple up as well. This is a constant issue. Shark, when he starts to be dangerous, is a real problem for the team on the other side. 23 kills to his name so far in this hard point, and now Gafilla on this side. Maybe he wants to heat up as well. The star power on Animus is problematic for Nexus, but Nexus do not care. They're already starting to approach the next hardpoint. Narcs looking for a first couple of kills. Legacy will answer back with 2 of his own. Nexus, they're in.
Can't hold down anything. It's a really, really tough for Animus now to be able to do a great deal if Shark or... It feels like him and Narcs, if they're not popping off Rasmo there alongside of them, then they're not finding these holes. 35 seconds about to tick in. Turtle inside the point, just pre-spraying that equalizer, completely wasted. Says Gathilla working well together. Rasmo will be there to find a third. Everything being thrown in, apart from the kitchen sink here from Animus. So much invested over towards P2, and for good reason. Can you find anything with it? 23 seconds to play for here. You're still holding on.
Still keeping an eye on those back spawns here. Nexus can't really afford to give this time away. Nox is just firing some Sparrow arrows in towards the backside, and well, he'll pick up more than one kill there towards the back. Shark is also picking up rotational battles as well, keeping these guys at bay as they spawn up down the driveway. For Animus, a pivotal moment here in this game. They get the vast majority of time away from the Lamborghini hardpoint, and they should be the first team to touch on new as long as they read that spawn clip coming through. I think Razmo might have done, but lost the gunfight regardless. Gefilla's going to bring in that Predator missile now, and Narcs will clean house too. So rotational battles won here. Again, big moment in this game for Animus to really start to run away with this game.
Nexus are keeping things scrappy, and that's how they're still in this game. Animus, it felt like they've won every single rotation. Legacy was able to get the claw out, but only momentarily. Razmo will shut him down and finds another of the respawn. Here come the wall side spawns now for the side of Nexus. Can they find a way through the absolute gauntlet? Balance is going to get a spawn behind up against his former teammates. Can he do anything there as Razmo finds two? Animus just starting to dominate in this game, but Nexus can find a few kills back. 20 seconds to play for here, but they can't get away with it cleanly. Just about trying to get them out, but Shark surviving momentarily. Nexus will find a break again, but every single time it feels like they're fighting off the back foot.
Yeah, I mean, Nexus, they're trying now, but they are just out of depth at this point in time. Animus really starting to overwhelm them here in this game. The last couple of hard points have been full dominance control for them. At the very least now, as we get towards the next hard point, they aren't facing down as much utility, and they are going to win the first couple of engagements as well. Big opportunity here for Nexus to get a full 60 against Animus.
They absolutely need it. 50 seconds to go, looking towards the operators, though there are some available. The side of Animus, you're already seeing them coming to fruition, as well as one player will go down to Cathilla. HBC will pop his Annihilator pretty much immediately. Says will take him down. Grenades starting to come on through. Says, what can you find with this? Everybody else spawning over towards the backside. Garage control there for Animus. The break comes through so quickly. 30 seconds to play for here. Nexus really do need them.
Nexus still need to win these gunfights. Perhaps Feints with a jump up from down low might be able to get it done. Feints can't really find anything. Gefilla's also starting to piece these guys up. And it's been the same kind of narrative over the last few hard points, time and time again. Animus are holding Nexus at bay on the last 3 hard points, and Nexus just cannot get in no matter how hard they try. At the very least, they do have a couple of players positioned towards the middle of the map, but as I say, all those players are also starting to fade away. Say's winning one gunfight through the middle of the map here. Ton Animus are heating up in this game. 38 for Razmo, 35 for Shark. The players that we need to step up when they are required are doing exactly that.
Shark has been unrelenting throughout this entire map. Just constantly in their faces. Animus now breaking 220 and can win it here over towards P1. They did such a good job last time around on this hill specifically, and they are finding all the kills. It's Shark for 2. Claw is out now as well. Everything gonna have to be thrown here from Nexus. You're gonna have to bring it to the table. Animus, you are 15 seconds away from a map 1 win.
Animus just looking for the last few wave of gunfights here in this round. This game will be done. Nexus gonna try one last-ditch attempt to get in towards the hard point. Balance, Legacy, Feints, all of them finding bloody kills, and Razmo's the only one to do anything in the situation. So he's gonna bring the Predator missile down. Balance now towards the hard point. He's gonna get doubled up on. Animus just need 5 seconds. Sparrow coming out from Narcs over the top. Turtle able to find one. It is albeit for a moment of congestion though, as Animus close out an indomitable second half of that game. Just look different gravy there towards the end.
Yeah, really good job from them, to be honest with you. I think for Nexus, they never won a rotation. It felt like Animus were always there, and when they did win a rotation, they would then get broken. Honestly, I feel as if Animus just never really pressed their advantage in that first rotation of hills. They never really found that moment to get comfortable because Nexus didn't allow them. Animus second time around had time to set up. They found the kills they needed to, hence finding the points. Really good job from Animus, and just playing fundamentals there. I feel as if sometimes, you know, so you see some of these teams who are just so talented in terms of the gunplay and their ability to find kills, that sometimes they maybe rely on it a little bit too much. For Animus, that felt a little bit more like a fundamental hardpoint game, where they then were able to find rotations and hold it down and use their operators at the right time. They close it out in a pretty convincing fashion in the end. Really good job coming through from Animus. Balance having the worst time up against his former teammates in 18 and 40 is not a good result for him, but looking over towards it, Razmo and Shark leading the way. Phenomenal performance from those two boys and from the Animus squad. A comfortable map number 1 win.
And it is just when Animus need to step up to the plate. They absolutely do. And again, something that we didn't see yesterday in the hard points, right? Where they just didn't look comfortable whatsoever. And today, they look entirely different. When you need those guys to step up to the plate, when you need the power players to come out to play, that's exactly what happens. So big map 1 victory, I think, from them. It is worth saying, there are still shaky moments, and I think that's what you're about to say here, Tanner, right? I mean, it's just like, the first half was not as perfect as we would like from Animus, but nonetheless, like, again, it proves that when they need to step up, they can.
Yeah, but at the same time, for all it wasn't perfect from them, they were finding the rotations, they are doing the fundamental things. I think I probably wanted to give credit more over towards Nexus for finding the breaks. They were always fighting off the back foot and finding a way through and stopping Animus, who had that advantage of those rotations, from actually being able to make it count. Okay, I think it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other in terms of which way things did really go. But I think for both these two teams, there was definitely learnings to be found in that first rotation of Hills, but it was very much a Animus show in map number 2, in rotation number 2. Map number 2 is coming up now, and that is going to be Tunisia coming through on the search and destroy from. What can Nexus offer here? We know Animus, a very, very good search and destroy team. That 1-0 lead will absolutely encourage them for this series.
And again, we go back towards Animus yesterday in search and destroy, and albeit the map number 5 was a bit of a failure for them, that map number 2 against Wanted most certainly wasn't. They can have a clean sweep search and destroy when they want to, and that's probably not the start that will be beneficial in Nexus whatsoever. Not only did they lose Nexy to a self-kill, but Turtle is also going to be taken out of the round. Good responses, though, coming up from Balance and HBC here. Immediately, we go down to a 2 versus 3, though. Razmir going to take Balance out of the play. Animus still preoccupied with the middle of the map. That is where the bomb is going to be down. Nexus sending players on both sides to go retrieve it. Feints will fail his mission. HBC not going to be able to waltz just straight through the middle of the map to retrieve that bomb. Defense holding strong, as it should do on round 1.
Good job from Animus to find those first opening kills, and then from there, just hunting them down. He's going to come through from Razmo, just chasing players across the map, trying to get that kill solidified. But for Animus, it's about a clean defense. I think if you're Nexus, you find a couple of rounds that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Shark getting aggressive. Look how aggressive actually everybody from Animus is. Till will be able to find one under Says. Razmo, can you slow this one down? The sniper, it may well be good to hold the angles, but when the push does come through, then all of a sudden you're in trouble. Cathilla's been dealt with. Legacy and Turtle, a really good job here. It is now wide open. Nexus have an opportunity.
As far as a retake is concerned, Animus here are relatively one-dimensional, right? All of the players are coming from the same side of the map. They're going to look to brute force their way through, but if anybody can do it, it's going to be Shark. First gunfight, not as good. R9 up close and personal is doing some serious work there. How many more gunfights can you get as well? Razmo going to be made weak. Got to be careful about the over challenge, but I think as Nart goes down, you can get away with it there in that situation. And again, it's one of those rounds that goes to show when you actually get onto the site, winning the round from there on out is significantly easier.
Yeah, and they did a really good job of getting onto that site. They pushed through the middle of the map, found the pick, and threw the archers onto it. Really, really good job coming through from Nexus. If you can go even through 6 rounds of search and destroy on the attack on Tunisia, then things are looking good. Straight rushing through the front door, though. They have actually backed Razmo down. The rest of Nexus need to be, the rest of Animus, I should say, need to be here to try and find the kills. Cathilla can answer back to balances 1 and 2. Feints will find another. Looking like another good attacking round coming through from Nexus, but Shark will slow them down. A 2v3 in favor of Nexus. A bomb yet to be planted. They'll get it picked up. It will go down. But for a moment there, Animus were looking like in a tough spot, and if Nox is going to be able to just walk up like this, HBC with a fantastic shot to bring it back, and all of a sudden Shark's left in a 1 versus 2. Balance though will go for the Chal, will find his 3rd of the round, and Nexus find themselves with a lead here in the search and destroy.
Massive kills coming through from Nexus there, a massive round once again. Any rounds you take away on offense here on Tunisia search and destroy are pivotal for the overall victory. Nexus so far been looking pretty good. Now they're going to go straight towards B. Only one person to contend with on site. It's going to be Narcs. They have to be fast about this, I want to say. You don't want to offer an opportunity to Animus to get on back on towards the site. They haven't dealt with Narcs on site just yet. Finally, as Turtle picks up that kill, they do. But nobody towards the backlines. Animus can still re-entry.
They seem to just be getting pipped to the post on these first bloods. Making a difference. Turtle will find another on a Shark. The grenade towards the back. Razmo will eventually find one into Legacy, but Animus are limping here in the search and destroy. And Emoji honestly would have thought that they would be gliding through up against this Nexus roster, but now made into a 3 versus 3. Says we'll find on the balance as well. Feint answers back 2v2.
15 seconds as well. Not a lot of time to make this work. If you can fill it, you have to put your foot on the gas right about now. There's the first kill, but again, those guys have split up in the situation. Nexus, once again, making it work, making the right decisions as far as these offensive pushes are going. And while Animus are also kind of making the right decisions on the defense, right? I mean, they're reacting perfectly fine. Just so difficult to get back onto a site once you've lost it. And again, you see it there. Nexus, 3 offensive rounds now here on Tunisia.
Fantastic job. If you're Animus, you absolutely need to win these next 2 rounds. Going 4-1 down, yes, okay, they have the ability to bring it back in the attacking rounds themselves, but you don't want to put yourself at that disadvantage if you can possibly help it. 4v4 now. It seems like they open the bricks, they're not finding, and then Nox is going to get caught there. Comes across, expecting the push to be coming through from A. Maybe the communication's not there from his teammates. There was nothing going on over towards B. He finds his way over and gets caught with his pants down. Now, all of a sudden, A seems to be the target for Nexus, and it may work out perfectly because Animus have now left, but Gothilla will find one. Makes it a 3 versus 3. Rasmo makes it a 3 versus 2. Animus must find this round.
Yep, Feint, I was going to say. I mean, you can see him making that route around from behind. Has to be the playmaker for a Nexus in the situation, and him taking out a player there from Animus is going to bring this down to a 2 versus 2. It's also going to split the difference between the last 2 players, where I feel like Says is not playing right now. I don't think Says is actually in this round. I've got a feeling. So it is all going to be on Gothilla in behind. Can he do anything? Yep, Says has just reconnected, possibly at the right time. Gothilla towards the site has already picked up 1, and now Says is about to come in at the perfect time for Animus here in the situation. Feint is going to whiff the snipe on towards Gothilla. Bomb not in his hands. He has no choice but to wrap back towards the site here, right into the open line of sight of Says. Says has just seen him. The comm should be there to Gothilla. Feints, what can you do? What can you offer us? 20 seconds left. Need some snazzy snipes. Not going to be able to get it done. And again, unfortunate start, I think, in that 2 versus 2 that Says was not there. Gothilla held out long enough for Says to get back in the game.
Yeah, unfortunate for the, for the side of Animus, but they will get away with it. Really good job coming in from Animus to be able to clutch that one up. Gothilla's found 7 so far. Need some help from the rest of the team. They need to hold on to this, which is what an all-out assault looks like over towards A. Nexus trying to find something on the way through, but that first blood can be so important all the time. I say that as Legacy will find 2. Nox is able to answer back. It's a 2v2 in the blink of an eye.
No, even with a 2 versus 2, Animus do not have control of sight. Shark is trying to be all sneaky about this one as well. Is it going to be enough for surprise against Nexus? It would have been if he hadn't taken those pot shots. Nox is not able to get on site either. Do they recognize that Shark has pushed all the way up? No, they do not. Shark finds that first kill. Now 1 versus 1, and Shark pulls off the clutch. Animus able to take their final defensive round away, down to Shark's heroics.
Oh, Shark rolls in, finds one with the SMG, picks up the sniper, and almost hip fires over to the other side. Finds the kill. 3-3. For all that, Animus will find that clutch round there. Take nothing away from Nexus. That is a fantastic attacking half from them. Animus, can you match it or go better? You will have to. Really, really good job coming through from the side of Nexus. 3 rounds on a Tunisia on the attacking side is nothing to be sniffed at.
And we do switch sides now. So he's going to draw that first blood. Good start for Animus here. Even better start for Animus as they now have full control over B. And again, it's that same position that we saw this time flipped as Animus are full in control of B, and it's just so difficult for any retake to come through from Nexus. At the very least, they do get a free kill on towards Says. I think HBC just saw him from up top in Winery and was like, hey, I'll take that free kill all day long. Yet still, the immediate problem is the fact the bomb's down on B and you need to cross the map to retake it.
And Rasmo found a crazy shot in the middle of the map to open up proceedings as well. I mean, just puts you in a fantastic position if you're Animus. It feels like first bloods. If you find them on the attacking rounds, it's so important. Be able to advance on. Shark's just going to be holding the angle here. There's no way to read it. Turtle will fall. Shark won't have to find the second, but Gothilla is there. Animus, a good start to their attack around. Finding the first one. Can they gain some momentum and find a couple more?
And this is always worth saying. I know we kind of talk up the fact that Tunisia Search and Destroy is so defensively sided. It's very difficult to get in towards the sites, but again, it is extremely rewarding when you do. For Animus, B worked out perfectly last time around, but they are changing tact in towards this round. Nox is going to draw that first blood through, and I'm curious about the reaction from Nexus, and I think Animus would be as well. They are not so certain about this A push just yet, even with that nade over the top. Their primary purpose there to draw the troops on towards A and maybe make that push back towards B, but instead now they're going to carry on with this pushing towards A. Nexus have all the players over here.
Oh, the angle's perfect from Rasmo, who's just been ridiculous so far in these attacking rounds. Will get aggressive on a Legacy. The round was already done, but styling on them a little bit. Animus was 2 rounds out of 2 on the attacking side. Feels like teams are maybe just learning a little bit better of what to do here. Animus 5-3 to the good now. Sensational work so far on these attacking rounds. Both teams finding success, but Animus looking just a little bit more ruthless. I don't think you're going to challenge Rasmo in the middle of the map after that previous round, but they're going to go for the challenge immediately. The first ball will go says his way, but Lexi finds 2. The nade over the top as well. Well, are they expecting Shark here? Oh, his patience may well have just found him at least 1 kill. It has done. The map is now completely split. Shark's in an interesting position, but look where everybody else is pushed up over towards B. Animus getting this down while Shark distracts.
And the problem for Nexus is, of course, they have to deal with Shark before making the rotation, otherwise timing might not be on their side. They do have a secret weapon. Legacy, he was a little bit broken away from Feints and HBC in the play. Legacy could do some serious damage here on the flank. Nox has just seen him though. There you go. And Legacy's still going to win the fight, despite Nox getting the, I think it was a hit marker there with the Tundra. Legacy's R9 will walk away with a kill. Elsewhere, HBC's going to take out the filler. All of this falling apart now. Shark for a 1 versus 3 in defense of the site. Just going to hold his irons. Wait for HBC to make the push. There's 1, there's 2. Shark once again. He's a magnet for these clutches.
Oh, phenomenal from Shark. I've got to give him credit, but you've got to go at the same time. It just gives him the opportunity. 1 goes in, there's 1 gunfight. The second one comes in. He doesn't even have to stop holding down the trigger. Great work from Shark, but you've got to be more coordinated if you're Nexus. It's a 1v3 from him. Animus 6-3 up, 1 round away from a 2-0 lead.
And Animus have just been so solid on these offensives. And again, I know a lot of it has been down to Shark clutching up, but still, got to give him credit. Very different look out of the Animus in this round, though. It's much more split. Again, I think down to the fact that Saze is once again disconnected. Kifiller's still drawing that first blood. I got a feeling maybe Saze is like playing from the back of a truck or something. That's something that's happened before here in COD Mobile.
Oh, you know what the typical one is? Didn't charge his phone. I'm guilty of it myself. I am very much a living on the edge 12% man, but irrelevant of that. Hey, looking like it is going to go down here. It's technically a 4v4 because it doesn't seem as if Saze is there. Keep an eye for him reconnecting, but irrelevant of that now. Animus, can you hold it down? The bomb is down. That's the hard part done. HBC will find Rasmo. Saze will get taken down on the other side of things, but wasn't in play anyway. The timing's not going to work out for Shark and Turtle. Will bite back. All of a sudden now a 2 versus 4 hold. Can they do it?
Oh, Narc's gonna look away at the wrong time. Narc's still finding gunfights though. Kifiller might well have gone down. He's a distraction play. Narc's still in for a 1 versus 2. Legacy's gonna shut him down. And yeah, numbers there looking pretty good for Nexus. They're able to retake a site. A necessary retake up that because they lose that one. They are done in this search and destroy. They are still somehow, some way holding on.
Just about. This is defense on Tunisia, though. You can find rounds. It's not like it's just an attacking side of the search and destroy map. If anything, it's a defensive one. You can see now Saze still not there. So Animus, are they suffering for it? Balance, is he going to offer up the first blood? Yes, he is, but will it also be answered back? So now it's technical 4 versus 3. Nexus to try and pull off. Still waiting on Saze coming back. May well take their time to see if it can happen. Nox is looking for a pick, but it would be quite difficult there with the Fennec. Essentially expecting the flank to come through, but if you are Nexus, you're sitting tight.
If I'm Animus here, honestly, I don't wait. I know that you've got confidence that you can win these gunfights, but I would just rotate straight away, even if you're 1 man down in the situation. Just move away from the site, because the longer you take it, the more likely it is that Nexus We'll put another man on towards B. Here we go, finding that rotation in towards Effect. Utility being sent over towards A. So I think Animus still making a little noise here to ensure that they do get themselves over towards B safely. But even they will take some time. They will not hit this super aggressively. They need to make sure that there's nobody on the site. They need to check every single corner. The check-in should now be done, and the bomb will go down. Nexus do not have anybody on site.
And that was a full commitment for Nexus over towards A. And now will have to be a full retake in a 4v4 situation. They probably do their due diligence to see if Says is actually playing. Not there. So it's a 4v4. They know they need to find absolutely everything. Nox will be the first one to maybe do something here. Says back from the dead will find one into Turtle. Faints can answer back with a kill onto Says. 3v2 in favor of Animus.
Nexus don't have the numbers. They need to take individual gunfights here to try and save this search and destroy. Faints can't do anything. HBC stuck between a rock and a hard place, and they are going to get crushed as Shark. Of course, it's Shark that closes out that search and destroy. And it almost had to be him in a way, the chosen one in that S&D, because there were 2 or 3 rounds where Shark did things that I'm pretty sure are against the Geneva Convention. Incredible plays from Shark, and on the whole I think Animus for all of their offenses there just proved why they're a class above a lot of teams here in Europe.
Yeah, really good job from the side of Animus. And it was almost surprising to see how the game actually turned out. In terms of for Nexus, you got their attacking side to kick things off, can be a disadvantage at times because of how hard the attack can typically be. But a 3-3 result after 6 rounds for them is a massive win. If I'm Animus, I mean, clearly they didn't panic, but if I'm on Animus, I'm like, oh, that wasn't a very good half, lads. But do a really good job to turn this around. And bearing in mind a couple of situations with a disadvantage in numbers from the get-go because Says wasn't there. They get the job done and find themselves 2-0 up now, and you'd feel very confident that they're going to close this one out and solidify their position in Challenge Finals. Rasmo and Co are having a fantastic time of things, but Shark, I mean, this was the moment, right, for the 1v3. Look, this is the moment I'm talking about. Faints and HBC, you gotta challenge at exactly the same time. Find the shots. Couldn't do either one of these things. It's a 14-6 game from Shark. Says we're there 6-9 considering he was not barely there. Animus 2 to the good now. Nexus have it all to do.
I just find it so funny that Animus did that, you know, obviously with many clutch plays and did that on the offense, but they did that with Says being AFK for the vast majority of the end of that search and destroy. I think it was like 3 rounds in which he wasn't even playing towards the end, and they had to try and play around those reconnects. And even despite that deficit of players, they're able to make that work, able to win out the search and destroy. It gives them good credence, I think, for closing out this series now and earning the final spot in Challenge Finals. They've just got to win 1 control to do it, and it is going to be an Arsenal control. It's a map we did see yesterday, though, from Animus.
Yeah, and one that was maybe a little bit slippy in comparison to how they would want it to have gone, especially up against Vanquish. For Nexus, I think they nearly kind of threw it away in their previous series against Vanquish as well. So both these 2 teams going up against the same team and getting the exact same result with a 3-2 victory. Can they make it count here, though, Animus? They're 2-0 up, or can Nexus start the comeback? I don't know. I did have hope for them after those first 6 rounds of Search and Destroy. How many times have we cast over Tunisia where defense have held nearly every single round? I think they held 1 out of the 5 or 6 that they actually managed to get into. It would have been, 5 in the end, but got to do more here on the control. Can you find something straight off the rip? It's going to be Animus on the defensive side. Big hit over towards A to kick things off.
You're going to need to put a stop to the momentum of Animus, I think, right at the gate here. If you're a Nexus, win these opening engagements. And to be fair, they've won a couple, but not the vast majority of them. Narcs is still active towards the A zone. And, well, Faints is, well, still alive, but no control over A just yet whatsoever. Animus already starting to get those players in the power position. Rasmo pushed all the way up. Gafulla's going to take Turtle out. There goes Faints in the middle of the map. And, oh, no. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O, you guys are in danger.
A lot of danger. Need to make sure you find these next couple of gunfights. Alex can find one. It's just so crucial that you don't lose them all here. Oh, just like that. Gathilla knocks, and all of a sudden you're an absolute hellhole. Oh no, this is just so bad. Now you can see already players pushing up. Says has put himself in a position to try and lock them down. We'll be asking for reinforcements very, very quickly, but Gathilla, Says starting to line them up, starting to make the squeeze. Shark will just force their way forward, but if you're Animus, you haven't overcommitted towards this. You know, you haven't necessarily had the opportunity to fully enforce that spawn trap. You can just keep them at bay. Really good job from Animus so far, but Nexus may well find a route out yet.
I don't know. I honestly, 8 seconds left. This would be a phenomenal comeback if they were to make this one happen with 3 seconds on the clock as well. They've got no choice but just to full send it towards the point. Nox has already found value here on the flank. 4 players on the point. Can they overwhelm Animus here? Next, Legacy is going to find a couple of kills. 2 seconds. First hit going to be through. Says takes HBC out, just down to a couple of players on the point. Faints is going to find a couple. Is still keeping this round alive. As Faints goes down, though, all of it now is predicated on Turtle sat on A, holding the clock back.
I mean, it was a Hail Mary of a nade that came through over towards the B side. Nexus living by the skin of their teeth. Faints will find a kill on Gathilla. Can continue to hold here. It would take something quite perfect to find the round, but can you make it just a little bit better? I wonder. Here we go. The push is going to start to come through. Turtle will be able to find one. Says finds another. So all of a sudden, Nexus have no lives remaining, but are finding the kills. Gathilla will find another, and that might be the nail in the coffin that was already lowered into the ground. Fantastic work from Animus. A sensational start to the round is what the difference maker is going to be here. Nexus, impossible situation.
And the fact that they've done this is pretty impressive. Let's be cool about it. The Nexus still are in deep danger. It's a hole that is very difficult to climb out of, and I'm not really sure they've got the arms for it. Faints. 1 versus 5. It's a 1 versus 11 on the whole if we're talking life count, and he finds himself overwhelmed. Yeah, just that opening flurry of engagements where Animus won them, I think it was, what, 10-1 over Nexus. And, you know, fair play to Nexus, they get out of it, but still, those kind of plays are so damaging here on control, the spawn control. And look what it's done as well to the utility on side. Animus, they've got 4 streaks between 3 players. They've got all 5 operators on side, and they're going in towards offense. Do not be surprised to see it all come out at the start, and that's exactly what's happening.
Oh my word. Oh, this is so dangerous now. Saves and Shock can start to force the issue. The only player that was remotely left in a good position was Balance, and he gets wiped out as well. Sparrow now out for Nox, although not much left to talk about with it. But the sniper over towards B from Rasmo just going to try and hold them at bay. Lexi will put the shots down, but it's already looking like curtains here for Nexus. The shot from Rasmo is nothing less than you would expect. And now they will start to squeeze. Says will start to put them down as quickly as he possibly can. Nearly finds the second. Baines will eventually take him down, but it is a woeful start for Nexus to the round.
Yeah, it's about as abysmal as you could ask for, and what a stark difference between these two teams, right? Last round, Nexus couldn't do anything. Animus at the start of this round have fully overwhelmed Nexus, and it should be said it is mostly down to the fact that they had the operators and all the utility ready to go. That's why they were able to do what they did on towards A, but still it's given Animus a lot of options. Says is now starting to heat up over by B as well. A couple of kills for him. Kafilla now going to bring the Annihilator out, the one operator that they held back for this kind of play, and now Animus have the players in spawn trap positions. One wave of gunfight, and those players are about to learn the definition of a blender.
And Rasmo will find 2. Oh, there you go. You're sending back to it. Rasmo finds a 3rd. And Shark and Gathilla are just going to start teeing off as they start to come in. Legacy, though, will find 1. The players on the respawn not going to be able to do anything. Now they can come back in scot-free. But is the damage already done? 3rd tick on B. Starting to roll in very, very quickly. If you're Nexus, you need to move. You need to move right now. Gathilla can find 2. B is captured. Animus are running away with it.
Yep. And again, yeah, it has to be said, I got to bring it back to the start of that round, right, where Animus had every bit of utility that you could possibly ask for, and they're not the kind of team to not use that utility when it is required of them. Everything in the kitchen sink goes at Nexus there in the play. And Nexus, I think, now really need to do the exact same thing back. Animus have 2 streaks, 1 operator on the defense. Nexus have 3 operators. We need to see them coming out from Nexus right from the rip here, and they need to be successful too. And I don't think they're even going to bring them out. I think they just want to get themselves on towards a point with some honest, straight good gunfights, and so far that is not working. It's time for Banpley. It's time for some of these operators, and FaZe is going to find 2 with a Sparrow.
Just about does. Legacy will find 1 with the Annihilator as well, so they can start to move forward. Gathilla will call in the Predator missile, so that will slow them down ever slightly off the respawn if you're Animus. Nexus, to be fair, damage is being done. Balance is going to find 2 here as well. How many times have we seen Animus up 2-0, or even Nexus in a commanding position on this map? And things can be spun around very, very quickly. HBC will only find 1. Nelly finds 2 with the collateral. Not going to be able to get it. Nox will find another. And all of a sudden, Turtle is just waiting for somebody to fall into his jaws. A should be captured here from the side of Nexus, but Animus have recovered from what was looking like a pretty shaky spot. Turtle will fall, A will not. 23 versus 18 in favor of Nexus, though.
Yeah, Nexus, this has still been a pretty fair shake at this round, to be fair. Well, their A hits haven't drawn beared fruit just yet. They haven't fully got control of A. They have got 2 ticks over on it, but the gunfight's over towards B and not going their way. Kafilla and Shark will combine for 3 to remove those players from the point. And now Nexus, once again, going to have to change tack towards A. They go.
Uh-oh.
But you're saying it, son. Kills are not going their way. Spawn trap now starting to come together for Animus.
Oh. Not a good position to be in. Legacy finds a big gunfight. Look at this from Gatilla. Oh, he's not able to find anything. So Annihilator was invested there for the spawn trap to come through. And he doesn't find a goddamn thing. Still, though, if you're Nexus, you got 20 seconds or so to do something about this. Lives are dead even. All down these next couple of gunfights.
Stays opening things up with the first kill here. Stays is going to find another one as well. It's kills for Feints and Legacy. Is that good enough, though? Still a couple of players left to contend with on the point here for Nexus. Shark with the equalizers. Can he clutch up once again? No, cannot hear that second shot. And now everything is fully clear. On the flank, potential play coming through from Razmo, who will find 2, but they're not going to stop that point from going through. So an extra 60 seconds on the board. The lives also not that different.
Dead even now. 9 apiece. But look at the positioning coming in here from Animus. They are all over the place. Nexus, will you be expecting any of these corners? Well, the answer is going to be absolutely yes if you're HBC. Shark is able to answer the question, though. 8 versus 8. And this is where control just starts to slow down. Or at least should do. 45 seconds, they knew exactly where Shark was, but sometimes it just doesn't matter. Finds another on the Legacy. I think the operator is going to be super important here as Razmo and Nox. They may well just want to kill this game off. They do have them available, as does Legacy. It's an 8v7 in favor of Animus.
It's these kind of plays that wish you start to talk about the utility on side. For Nexus on this flanking play, they've got 2 operators. They've also got 2 to contend with from Animus. Here we go. Legacy opening things up with that first blood. On the flank, HBC going to follow up with another one as well. They want to get this done with a spawn trap. It's going to be the War Machine coming out from Balance to try and survive this round. Balance is going to find another one as well. HBC finds 3. Just a couple more players outside the point, though. And Stace and Razmo are going to win those gunfights. So what was a promising spawn trap might not go their way.
Didn't get on. They didn't get on.
They did not get onto the point, and Animus will get it done 3-0. So preoccupied with a spawn trap towards the end of the game, they were not thinking about the point. They wanted it via lives. And you need to remove the players, not just in the spawn trap, but the ones away from that spawn as well. They didn't do it.
That feels like deja vu for Nexus. Focusing on spawn traps all the time. And sometimes can come to bite you. It has to be done at the correct moments. And Nexus are investing so much in making it happen, they forget the fact is that you gotta actually capture the point. Animus will get it done in 3. Fantastic work coming through from them. They will get the job done. Nexus will fall and Animus will adventure on into the Challengers Finals. Fantastic job from them. And rightfully so. A really good performance in that series across the board. Fantastic attacking dominance on the Search and Destroy. Phenomenal in the control and a pretty comfortable map number 1 alongside of Animus, proving they should be there and will be there.
Wow. Just stellar 3-0. Coming out from Animus. Well played to them. And looking over towards the stat lines here, towards the end of the game as well. Usual suspects, I think it's fair to say. Gafilla, 19 and 10. Shark, 18 and 15. He had some phenomenal moments across the series and is really playing on top tier form at the moment. I want to give a particular shout out to Razmo, though, because I think last season on Omniscient, Razmo at times could be relatively quiet, but this season it feels like he has found another gear, as it were. So I'm really happy to see him playing at the high level. Now that Animus have managed to qualify for Challenge Finals, I think he's going to be on form back there as well.
I mean, we knew that Animus was a likely suspect here to get that last match. There were some solid moments performance-wise, though, out of Nexus. And I think if there were 5 in the Challenge Finals, they probably would have been that 5th squad. At the end of the day, though, it's Animus who gets it done. They now clinch that last spot in Challenge Finals. That means our entire regular Challenge season is also done. We've somehow completed all of it already. And now it's just kind of looking towards the future to see what these top 4 teams can bring to the table. You know, we've mentioned it a couple times. Obviously, we've gone through 2 groups now. 117 has been waiting for a long time. It seems like forever that we did Group A. Then it was exclusive. Then it was wanted. And now it is Animus. Quite the top 4 lineup here, Ton.
Yeah, and I think they are all deserving to be there. I think we've had some surprises on the way in the route that they got there, of course, but I think especially for Animus, they will be disappointed that they didn't get it done in a shorter amount of time. But Wanted were a real big surprise. But Animus really showed their pedigree there. I think you can give some credit towards Nexus for some of their play throughout, but Animus just showing their class throughout that entire series. Really good job from them. I'm excited to see how things go down in finals, because I think we typically got a very good idea. But this time, I don't know if we do necessarily, based on what we've seen from Wanted, what we've seen from Animus, how the other teams from Group A are going to look as well up against these rosters. I think it's very hard to decipher how things are going to go down, which is not usually the case for COD Mobile in Europe. So that should be a nice time when we do get over there, of course.
Yeah, it's definitely been a much closer region this time around, Brody, and I feel like with those upsets that we saw in this regular season, now is the time for all of the teams to kind of really hunker down and start doing that VOD review and figure out what they need to nail down before finals.
Absolutely. If I don't see these teams, I mean, obviously we don't see the prep that they're doing, but if I get to playoffs and we don't see teams vetoing properly, I'm going to be on your butts, guys. Veto properly, please. Yeah, I mean, it is interesting, I think, looking at the current circumstances, because I don't think anybody necessarily expected, I think there were certainly inklings, but necessarily expected 117 Not Found to beat out exclusive last week. And I certainly do not think anybody expected Wanted to come out and beat Animus this week. So I think we started the season with this idea that maybe exclusive are the team to beat. And now we've ended the challenge season with the idea that we don't really know what the heck is going on. And it's going to make challenge finals all that more interesting. I cannot wait.
You guys can see there the final bracket, just kind of reflecting how everything has officially played out with Animus on that bracket as the fourth and final team heading to challenge finals. It was an exciting group, to say the least, and we've gotten through the whole challenge season now. So if you missed anything prior for how we got to the point that we are at now, or you just want to see what happens in the other regions or in our challenge finals, follow us on social media at X, Insta, and Facebook. That way you can get all of the updates related to the Snapdragon Pro Series and keep up to date with what we've got going on. Or you can join our Discord at discord.gg/Snapdragon Pro Series, where you can join our community, hang out, talk all things Call of Duty Mobile, and of course, continue getting the updates for everything we've got coming up right around the corner. And now that we're at the end of the show, guys, scan that QR code if you didn't do it in the beginning. Give us your thoughts in the survey about SPS, what you love about the show, areas you think that maybe we could improve upon. And when you do that, you'll be entered to potentially win a $100 gift card. And it's a nice, quick, and easy survey. So if you could go ahead and do that, we would really appreciate it. I mean, that's pretty much the end of the show here for us. The boys did a fantastic job. I'm gonna qualify what they were just talking about as their final thoughts as well. Essentially, it's going to be a very exciting challenge finals here in the region, to say the least, with Animus alongside 117 exclusive and Wanted. They will be battling it out to see not only who is the best in the region, yes, that's what they will be crowned, but also which team will continue on the road of competitive Call of Duty Mobile, who will be making their way through to champs. So obviously, make sure you tune back in 2 weeks, okay? 2 weeks to see how all of it plays out, because it's going to be very exciting. As always, it's a huge thank you to Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Samsung Galaxy, Monster Energy, and DHL for helping us make this whole thing possible. And thank you to all of you at home for watching. We will see you in the challenge finals.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, Monster Energy, and DHL.
Looks like the players are ready.